How your beats and mix can easily show if you're a pro or you're a newbie. And in this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to mix your beats like industry producers so that artists can keep coming back to you and buying more beats. Now, this video, I will not show you how to mix your beat like a mixing engineer. Instead, I will show you a cheat code you can use to make your beat sound mixed even if it's not yet mixed. And regardless of the style of music you make or the software you use, these tips remain useful all across the board, so it's for everyone. Now, the first step to mixing your beats to sound like industry producers is to make sure all your tracks are linked to the mixer, because this will give you individual control of all sounds on your beats. The second tip is to listen to your beats with a fresh pair of ears, preferably the next day after you're done making the beats, because when your ears are fresh, you can hear things more clearly from a different perspective than when you're in the moment making the beats. And when listening, try to find sounds that are much louder than it should be. Most times it could be your drum rolls, it could be your drum fills, it could be your bass, it could be a particular snare or clap. So try and identify sounds that are too loud and reduce the volume a little bit. This is called leveling. Okay, leveling is super important, as if your beat is not well leveled, it can mess up the vibe an artist gets from your beat when listening and trying to come up, with something. Now, the third step is to identify your kick, your bass, and any other elements that has bass frequencies there. Okay, for example, in this song right here, this is the kick. So I'm just going to use an EQ and cut off some low end. Now, what this does is that it's going to make my beat sound clean on the low end and allow for more headroom. Okay, so I'm going to start with my kick, load up an EQ, and I'm not going to cut out too much bass. Okay, just a little bit. You come to the preset, right click it, come to 20 hertz plus 18 hertz cuts. Okay, then you just sweep across. You don't want to have something like this. Okay, this is bad. Okay, instead you just want to relax it a little bit. Okay, you just want a little cut. Okay, something like this is fine. And then we'll do the same thing for bass. If you have a bass guitar or a 808 or log drum, anything that has bass element, percussions that have bass elements, identify them and cut out the sound. Okay, same thing. Then I'll turn on the beats and listen to more. Okay, I can hear a lot of bass here too, so cut that out as well. Try high pass, or there's the bass. You can do it this way or the other way, it doesn't matter. Okay. Then listen to more parts in the production. So when I turn it on, now the fourth step is to use a compressor on the master channel of your beats. Using a compressor on the master channel of your beat to make it sound glued together and more cohesive. Okay, so I'm going to come to the master channel and I'm going to load up a compressor. You can use a stock compressor, you can use a third-party compressor. Okay, but I'm going to be using my favorite compressor, which is CLA76. Okay, now you want to use it in a relaxed setting, because if it's working too hard, it's going to kill the bass, it's going to squash the life of your beats, kill the bass. Okay, and also mess with dynamics of your beats. We don't want that. We just want a little presence, okay, of the compressor working. We don't want much of it. Okay, so you can see, just leaving it where it is already killing the bass. When I turn it off, so you can see we don't want that. Okay, so I'm going to reduce the compressor. So I'll turn it off and on to compare. So relax it some more. I also use the analog feature of this compressor because it does add some warmth, okay, some analog feel to the beat. Okay, so you can turn this on 50 hertz or 60 hertz. So when I turn it off, when I turn it on, Now, for the fifth step, I'm going to use a limiter and then also use a loudness analyzer to check the current loudness of the beat, okay, and also check for distortion, clicks, and pops in the production. We don't want that in our beat, okay. So first, I'm going to load up a limiter, increase the ceiling. Then next, I'm going to also use a loudness analyzer. You can use the Ulin loudness meter. It's totally free, okay. The free version works good. So it's going to show us the loudness, that is the LUFS, okay? And I recommend you keep yours within -9 to -12 LUFS, okay? Because at that point, it typically won't clip or distort, okay? So let's listen. So you can see my beat is heading up to -8, so I think it's a bit too loud, okay? So I'm going to relax the limiter a little bit, reduce the gain. That sounds fine. It's around -10 LUFS and it's not clipping, it's not distorting. And how best for you to find clips and distortion in your production? Go to where you have a lot of bass elements, maybe your 808s, your log drums, your bass drums. Listen to that part. If you can hear it at the current volume without turning down your speaker, right? That means most likely you are not having clips or distortions. But if you're having a kind of tear or crackle at that point where all your bass elements are playing at once, then most likely you're having distortion or clicks. So you have two options. Either you use an EQ to cut out some more low frequency from your bass element, or you reduce the volume of your bass element a little bit more, okay? So those are the two options that, I recommend you do when you have that kind of problem. All right, so now we're going to export it. Now, when exporting for recording sessions, okay, you can leave the master effects on. Okay, when exporting the MP3 or WAV for recording sessions, it's fine to leave the mastered effects on the master channel, okay? But when you're exporting your stems, that is individual files or multi-tracks, please turn off all effects on the master channel, because you want to allow more headroom, you want to allow more space for the mixing engineer to do their thing, okay? So please, if I were to export this in multi-tracks, I'll simply turn everything here off, okay? But if I'm just exporting for the recording session, I can leave this on, all right? Because the vibe that the artist needs in the recording session, the beat needs to be quite loud, okay, so they can feel all of the elements coming up, right? But when they are mixing, typically you want more headroom. You want the elements to have more headroom so that the mix can be more balanced and sound better, okay? Especially when it gets to the mastering stage, we want them to have more control as well. And then for the sixth and final step is very simple. All you have to do is hit the like button if you found this video helpful, and also hit the subscribe button to keep up with more tutorials like this. I remain Sir Classy. This is SC Tuts. See you soon. Cheers.